What's up, guys? I hope everyone's doing good tonight. Tonight, I have a very special guest, a hardcore original gangsta, Bruce LePage. He has been in the scene for a very long time. I'm really excited to pick his brain. This guy has been making music since there was still cassette tapes, and I understand some of you might not even know what those look like. But believe it or not, they used to be a very horrible, like little square thing you plug in and you can play music from it. You might not understand. But anyways, very excited to bring him up here. Bruce, what's going on, man? How are you tonight? I guess introduce yourself and like tell everyone who you are.
I'm Bruce LePage, formerly of 100 Demons. I'm a founding member of 100 Demons. Prior to that, I was in Push Button Warfare, and I was the replacement singer for that band. In my first band, Bloodbath, we put out our first demo in 1989. I attended my first hardcore show in 1986. And my first live music event in 1977 when my dad brought me to see Johnny Cash.
That's awesome. What was your first hardcore show that you went to?
It was, I guess, more of a punk rock show. It was in Nashville when I was stationed in the 101st.
Okay.
It was FOD, Flag of Democracy.
Okay, cool.
And some local openers.
Nice. And you said you started Bloodbath in 1989. Is that correct?
Yes.
Dude, that is when I was born. So that's awesome, man. So you've definitely been around. You've seen a thing or two. And I think that you like people look up to you. Like I just had Phil Labonte just quote tweeted you earlier. Because he's looked up to you as well. And a lot of people in the hardcore and just music scene in general know who you are. You're not afraid to speak your mind, and you've done a lot of really cool things for music over the years. So I guess how did you get started making music? I know Bloodbath, that was your first project back in the day, and that was kind of based out of the New England area. Right? Wasn't it? Didn't Bloodbath kind of start more in Connecticut?
Western Mass is where.
Western Mass. Okay. Basically Connecticut.
Yeah, like 30 minutes north of Hartford. When I got out of the Army in June of '88, when I was stationed at the 101st, I was a sergeant, but there was a private in our company that was from LA. And he, at the time, I was listening to Echo and the Bunnymen, The Cure, Sonic Youth, that type of stuff.
Yep.
But he had flyers on his wall from the shows he used to go to in LA, Dead Kennedys, Black Flag. He had seen all these bands.
Yeah.
And he took me to some record stores in Nashville, and I bought Bad Brains, Eye Against Eye, had just come out.
Bad Brains, yeah.
The first Murphy's Law record. And I went with him to that first show, and I kind of started getting more into hardcore and away from punk.
Yeah. I mean, it is like a pretty natural transition, I think, to go from punk into hardcore, especially over time when you realize like some of the punk stuff, it just, the people in the punk scene are actually, there's a lot of people there that are completely unbearable. When did you so have you always been a vocalist? Do you play any instruments as well? Or?
I played drums when I was young, but I mean, I can play, if you want to start a Beach Boys or Creedence Clearwater cover band, I can play that, but I could never play hardcore. It's too difficult for me.
It's very technical for sure. Yeah.
When I got out of the Army in June of '88, my girlfriend at the time, she wanted to see Circle Jerk or 7 Seconds, and I wanted to see Circle Jerks, and they were doing a tour together in New York. So we went to, at the time it was Irving Plaza, and the opening band was Raw Deal. I didn't know who they were at the time, but that I had never seen. I had that Murphy's Law and Bad Brains record, but I had never seen anything like that live, and it was instant. Just hooked me in. I grew up on metal.
Okay.
I grew up in the '70s. I started high school in 1980, and so Sabbath, Iron Maiden. So hearing hardcore clicked with me more than the punk did, because it was heavier, had more of a metal feel to it. I could I like violence, and the violence on the
I,
dance floor was appealing. So
nothing wrong with punch dancing your rage out on a
yeah.
Friday, Saturday night. That's for sure.
So seeing Raw Deal made me want to start a band.
That's awesome. And so like you started and like you just naturally dove into like hardcore screaming and stuff, or like is this something you like? Because when I tried to start screaming, I did not do it properly, and at one point I had coughed up blood. So I know it's some skill and technical stuff. Like I'm sure you had some people that were like trying to teach you the right way, because that damages a lot of people's vocal cords.
Apparently I didn't do it right either, because we sent at the time it was common to send your tape into Maximum Rock and Roll before they went full hippie communist. And they said it was the worst vocals they've ever heard. That was our review.
Oh my God. So, that's hard, dude. That's hard.
Apparently I wasn't doing it right either.
Oh, geez.
And I don't like my vocals either if I listen to that old stuff. I think it's like anything, if the more you practice
training, yeah,
the better you get. Because I just did a guest vocal spot on a friend's record, and because I'm not in a currently active band, my voice doesn't sound all that great, in my opinion.
I mean, I will say, like, taking time off too. Like if you went off to go pick up a microphone and just someone asked you to go drop everything and do a tour right now, like it'd probably take a lot to make that decision. But like taking time off and taking a break away from playing regularly, like it's really easy to like lose that touch and lose practice. Because I remember like when I had first moved away, when my old band was touring and stuff, like we did some screaming and stuff, and I was like, I kind of almost forget how I used to do it, and my screams start sounding like shit again. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's definitely not always like riding a bike for everybody.
The last active band I did was this band called Eyes of the Lord with Taylor and Colin Young.
Okay.
And it was out on Closed Casket Activities, and Justin played bass in it. And since I quit doing heroin and drinking, it's tough to be on stage. It makes me really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I like writing music, but I don't like playing.
There's like, so that there's a reason that like there's a huge straight edge movement in the hardcore scene. And it's because there's also a lot of drugs in the hardcore scene. And like that is just very true and always has been. Same with the punk scene. Like I know firsthand what that kind of stuff can do, because when you are touring all the time and not living healthy in general, and venues just keep giving you free booze and people keep buying you drinks everywhere, it's really hard or really easy to turn to alcoholism to just get you through the night. Maybe it seems more fun, it makes it easier to get through the show and relax at the end of the night. But like, it really is like a really unhealthy life. And when you're surrounded by that all the time, it's just overwhelming. I completely understand where that's at too. So
yeah, I mean, I got kicked out of 100 Demons because I couldn't tour because I was a heroin addict.
Yeah. And what was that what caused you to want to get clean from all that stuff, or was that just kind of more on your own fruition later on?
No, it took me years to get clean. I was a junkie for close to 20 years.
And like, so that was like, so 100 Demons, this was like, was that the first time you got like, cause you were in 100 Demons twice, right?
Yeah.
And you rejoined. So was this after you came back, or this was after the first time?
I was clean for a brief period when I rejoined.
Okay. And like, so your progression basically went Bloodbath, then Push Button Warfare, which was like based in the Massachusetts area as well, correct?
Right.
And then eventually 100 Demons came in, and that's where I knew about 100 Demons. I wasn't as familiar with Push Button Warfare, I'm not gonna lie to you, but
not many people are. It was a local band.
Yeah, but definitely like remember watching some good like underground like live videos and stuff that are floating around the internet. You guys definitely put on a hell of a show. I remember there was one where you guys were like, I think playing a show in the middle of a half pipe.
That would be the original singer, Justin. I don't think there's
Oh, okay.
any maybe a couple videos of me singing for Push Button, but I mean, Justin wrote the overwhelming majority of those songs. He was a great
Gotcha. Okay.
lyricist. He had a really unique vocal style. I put him and Aaron from Death Threat as having the best and most unique voices in hardcore.
And so you left 100 Demons again just a couple of years back, wasn't it? Like 2017?
No, I rejoined in 2006 for maybe a year and a half.
Okay, yeah, okay. My timeline is way off.
We did a reunion of the original lineup in 2019 at This Is Hardcore for like the 20th anniversary of the first record. And that was fun, but stressful.
Yeah. Did you guys do you guys like still like, are you still friends with a lot of these guys? Because I know that like you kind of left on personal differences with some of the band members, and I don't think any of the info ever came out of why, maybe, but you know, like I know that like you guys kind of split off, personal differences or whatever, but like I know that there's got to be a couple of those guys that are going to be friends for life still.
No, I'm still very good friends with everybody.
Nice.
All the original members of 100 Demons, and the Reach, the drummer, we talk, I don't know, at least once a month on the phone for an hour, 2 hours straight. Like that.
That's awesome.
Love that dude to death.
That's awesome. And do you guys like ever swap music ideas still, or like do you like kind of like
no, because
just
Pete, the current singer of 100 Demons, has been in, I was in, you know, if you total up all my time in 100 Demons, it's maybe 3 or 4 years. And Pete has been the singer of the band for 15 plus years.
Right.
I mean, it's Pete's band.
So also like, you know, kind of like flipping back a little bit, you had mentioned you were in the military. I was actually 11 Bravo as well.
Same.
You know, so I you know, I was only in for like 2 years, but when I got out of the military, I immediately joined or started my band and my projects, because I noticed, like, I don't know, the military actually made me much more anti-authoritarian and much more like hating of the government, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if it had the same effect on you or not, but I still love my guns and I love freedom, but I hate the government.
I'm with you there. That's the only team I'm on. You know, I tweeted in defense of that Democratic mayor of Baltimore yesterday, because I've seen all these people on the right going after him because he looks young.
Right.
I mean, don't we want? Aren't we tired of 80-year-olds running the country? I thought we wanted somebody.
I mean, I am.
Young.
Yeah, like
that guy was elected overwhelmingly, and if you look at his resume, he's got a, you know, he was like, I think, commissioner of the Baltimore budget. You know, he came up through the process. The guy
he's not new to the, for sure. Yeah. Like he knows
what he's doing. Wait for him to fail before you know, talk shit on him. Baltimore's got its problems, but every major city
especially
does.
right now, they do.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to shut down the port for a while. But I just saw recently that they're going to open the port before they you know, worry about fixing the bridge, so they can get that shit rolling.
That's good. Yeah, it is wild to me. Like, I don't know, like I try not to like intervene, like intertwine music and politics too much, but like really, like there's such a anti-authoritarian attitude that is the backbone of a lot of hardcore bands, a lot of punk rock. And over the years, it seemed, especially in DC, but it seems like over the years that's like dissipated and it's almost non-existent anymore. I don't know, like what you've been around for so long. I'm curious to see like what you think has caused this shift. Is it just the culture in general, or
I mean, it's easier to swim with the current than it is to swim upstream.
That's true. I mean, it's always,
if everybody around you is saying A, you're not going to say B. I mean, that's just basic human psychology.
And I thought that like the point of like what we are like a lot of this music scene is trying to do is to just put one big middle finger into that entire idea. And I don't know how like so many of the bands I looked up to, I'm just now frustrated with because especially over the last couple of years with COVID and all the shutdowns and riots and all this kind of stuff going on, like they've completely flipped upside down and they're like they advocate for all kind of government intervention on people's personal lives, advocate for canceling other musicians on touring because they don't want to cooperate with certain rules or laws that are being put into place. Like it fucking blows my mind, man.
If your ideology aligns with the government, the majority of media, the majority of corporations, you're not the rebel. You're not the resistance. So I don't know why you pretending you are.
Right.
I mean, if we're speaking specifically about COVID, I mean, early 2020, I had stopped playing in that band, Eyes of the Lord, and I had hit up those guys like, let's play a show when nobody was allowed to play a show. I was like, let's play a show now. That's the most punk rock fucking shit we could do. And they were like, no, nobody will do that. But then LA did that big one under that bridge, and it wound up, that wound up cracking the seal. They did that one in Tompkins Square, and there were people salty about that. This is dangerous. And look, nothing right now has changed about COVID except everybody's attitude about it.
Right. That's
it's still there. I mean, Fauci has admitted that 6-foot rule he just kind of made up. I remember reading in 2020 that they came up with that rule because that was the average distance that spittle would come out of your mouth if you coughed, which made sense, I guess. But if I'm not coughing, can I stand 3 feet from you?
Right. It's wild. Like it like the whole thing, man, it fucked so many of my friends up. A lot of my friends who would tour for a living and in bigger, like more national acts that go across the country and stuff, like they were forced to get the job. Well, I mean, no one like, put a gun to their head, but like they have families to feed and they had to go get a shot, in order to go and continue their livelihood. If they refused to, which honestly, not many of them did. And if I was feeding my family off of that, I'm not sure where I would have been. I know that that it's a really shitty situation to be in, but truthfully, like it's such bullshit that we put up with that. And now we're just pretending like that just never happened.
The people that were screaming at you from across the street for not wearing a mask are the ones who want to pretend they weren't doing that now.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're also going to be the first ones, crying, this election cycle over any kind of bad words being said by someone, and I don't know, man, like like this whole scene, the alternative music scene, it has shifted a lot, even just since I started playing in 2010, 2011 till now. Like there's been a change. And I think that like a lot of it actually happened during the COVID stuff.
It did. It really it split a fracture through the whole country, I think. And that's initially when people started othering people. And that's a tactic that we've used for our military. There's a reason that we had slurs for the enemy in World War II and Vietnam, and it's try to assuage soldiers' guilt for taking another human life. If you think of them as subhuman, and now that's bled out into everything. It's bled out. Like it used to be, if you told me so and so was a Nazi, I knew what the fuck you meant. Now I got to ask because. I mean, you said people in hardcore look up to me, but I'm a very polarizing figure.
It's hardcore. True. Yeah. You've had your shares of controversy.
But I'm not in an active band, so I can say what the fuck I want. I mean, what are you going to do? Not come see my band? Cool.
Right.
I'm not playing anyway. I don't care. And it shouldn't be surprising to anybody that a 57-year-old man has a different worldview than a 25-year-old. No. And if you think you're going to have the same worldview when you get to be my age, you're wrong. All the hippies that were at Woodstock babbling nonsense are running the corporations now.
That is so true. That is
So
fucking true.
it's not surprising, and I don't mind anybody disagreeing with me. But if you're going to come at me with "fuck you," "you're stupid," we can't have a discussion. You're going to call me a Nazi because I think that, you know, people should go through the border the correct way and not swim across it. That makes me a Nazi.
Yeah, man, it's you're such a Nazi, Bruce. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, we have one of the most generous immigration policies in the world. I think we're in the top 10.
Yeah, and like honestly, man, like I think it's like all these definitions are just changing like rapidly more and more every single day. You know, I remember like I made a post on Twitter like a couple months ago, and in one post I had people calling me both a Nazi and a Jew. And like it's like Jew is the other thing that like everyone just like, you must be Jewish, as like, or they'll call me anti-Semitic for saying something that completely not anti-Semitic, but they'll try to find some kind of tie there that might make it someone Jewish did this one time. I don't know.
I mean, I'm under no delusions that Twitter reflects the real world.
It is not.
I
Yes.
think it's like 18% of people are on Twitter, and that's supposed to the opinions on Twitter are supposed to dictate how the wind blows. I mean,
And
I
it's only
don't
the
see
loudest
these
ones.
conversations much in the real world.
Right. Yeah, it's very much so not real life at
Even
all.
like, forget political Twitter, even like the hardcore discourse. It's people aren't having those conversations at shows. Everybody's happy to be at a show and watch a band.
Right.
I mean, I know full well when I was at FYA, there was a good chunk of people there who despise me because they have some preconceived notion of who I am or what I am. You don't know me.
Right.
I mean, I'd have to know you and respect you for your opinion to mean much to me. Like, if you want to discuss why I'm wrong, I'm more than happy to do that. But if you want to just tell me "fuck you," you think I'm a scumbag, then we don't have much to talk about.
No.
And this is coming from the same people who say that words are violence.
Yeah.
But they look awful confused when they say vile shit to me and I put my hands on them. Well, I thought words were violence and I'm acting accordingly. Like, why are you confused now?
Right. Dude, like it really is wild like how okay, so I got to ask you too. So like you've been like I said you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot of shit, dude, over the last fucking 35 years of you doing this, 34, 35 years.
Less than some, more than others, I guess.
You've done quite a bit of touring and playing shows. You played with a lot of bands. And like people have tried to cancel you a couple times repeatedly on Twitter, on the internet, whatever. People on Reddit don't like you, I guess. There's a few people on there that are just unbearable anyways. And I mean, fuck their opinions, but
I don't go on there, but I've been sent screenshots of threads saying lovely things about me.
Dude, it's ridiculous. But like the thing is like, would they ever sit down and have a real conversation with you?
I don't know. Probably not.
They wouldn't. They don't care to actually like understand opinions. They just are reactionary, and it's all just reactionary bullshit.
I mean, I think the same things that they say about my opinions, I think could be said about theirs. You know.
Yeah.
I had a cordial exchange with someone where I said, "What do you think people aren't aware of this topic?" I think it was about blocking highways. I said that you're never going to win anybody to your side blocking highways. Well, they have to make people aware of it. Do you think people aren't aware? Obviously not, because why? Because they haven't come to your conclusion. I got shit for I was just talking into the mic before we started playing that 100 Demons reunion. This is Hardcore in 2019, because most of the bands that played before us during the day, you know where 98% of the room stands politically.
Yeah.
And it's just a bunch of pandering. It's like playing a Youth of Today show and saying, "Give it up for straight edge."
Right.
So, and to me, I'm at the fest for music.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't care who you voted for. This isn't a political rally. It's a hardcore music fest. And there's a bunch of people pushing back on that, saying, you know, punk rock's always been political. And yeah, be political. I'm telling you, I don't care if you're a Democrat, if you're a fucking Republican, if you're a libertarian, or if you're an anarchist. I don't care. If you like the band, let's have a fucking good time. I don't care. It's
Yeah.
an apolitical statement. But
Yeah.
still, people are mad. And I think a lot of people in hardcore, they're not necessarily mad about my opinions on hardcore. They're mad that in my Twitter bio it says mostly conservative. I don't know. I don't consider myself a Republican.
I think
Mostly conservative, but I'm against the death penalty, which if you talk to conservatives, they'll just scream at me about that.
yeah. And honestly, like conservative, the right left thing is more of like a economic scale, mostly in my opinion. Anyways, like I was an economics major, so that's how I kind of view things anyway. But like, I do think that like, you know, opposing the death penalty is actually a pretty good conservative take because you're conserving human life, and you know, like it is wild how quickly people are willing to just kill somebody over damn near anything, and sometimes without even full substantial proof that bad shit happened. So
I have multiple problems with it. One of them being, look how many people get exonerated. Like you always see it in the news. This guy did 16 years and now he's getting out. You can't do that if somebody's dead. And because we have a mandatory appeals process for the death penalty, as we should, once you're a prisoner with a capital case, you're indigent. So the state is paying for your defense and your prosecution. And it costs more to put somebody to death than it does to incarcerate them for life. And and thirdly, it just strikes me as vengeance. Like if someone rapes your kid, I'm 100% okay with you killing that person. And then I believe in jury nullification. I believe in the jury looking at it and going, he's not guilty.
Fuck it. Right. Well, that's the
but
thing,
when the
man.
state does it, when the state takes vengeance, it's just that maybe that's a hypocritical view, but
I don't think
just
so.
feels different when the state does it as opposed to the individual.
The state is like they own the monopoly on violence. So like
100%.
you know what I mean? Like they literally like they will, and it's so fucking hilarious too when I hear people talking about these people who like have you know, and I am opposed to the death penalty as well. But like you'll have people that are very pro death penalty that are also like anti-war. And I'm like, you're setting all these other people up for you know, a death sentence overseas in some cases, whereas there's a lot of very innocent people that have never even done anything wrong, like, you know what I mean, like to hurt us, whereas you know, over here you have somebody you know, like I guess it's like it's hard because I am outside of the right and left spectrum too. Like I get like I'm in the Libertarian Party, but I am an anarchist too. So like that's like my baseline of where I come up with a lot of my views. Like I don't think the government should be involved in any of this shit. But yeah, like the government is the monopoly on violence in every situation, and there's no reason that, you know, the death penalty you know, should even be on the table. There's just like too much nuance there, and like you said, there's so many times people get exonerated. You know, and then you have people like also like Ross Ulbricht, and I'm not sure how you feel about that situation, but you know, today he just spent his 40th birthday in jail, just spent the last decade for creating a website to
the Silk Road guy.
Yeah, the Silk Road, yeah. I don't know, man. It's the whole system is just like basically surrounded in violence, you know, and obviously I you know, based on what I just told you, you probably assume that I also believe that taxation is theft and you know, all that shit too. So I think there's all kinds of extortion and violence with that as well. So
yes, didn't we go to war with England over 3%?
I know, right? Well, that's what's funny is like, can you imagine what they would say today if they saw like California was taxing just on state tax like fucking like 8-9%, and then the federal government was taking another 15-20% of your income? It's
Yeah.
fucking insane.
I'm not, you're an economics major. I'm not going to pretend like I know enough about the tax code or how our budget works. It feels like some level of tax is a necessary evil. I could be wrong, but
And I don't even need to agree with you on that or disagree with you on that. Like, I think like for the most part, we can all agree that like, uh, you know, we're never going to have a place that doesn't have taxes. I'm not a utopian. So, you know what I mean?
Florida doesn't have state tax.
And so neither does New Hampshire, is like where I stay some of the time. And then I also like am kind of a dual resident right now in Massachusetts as well. So I've been staying down there with, my girlfriend, but it's been, crazy just in terms of even my personal expenses. If I cross the border and go up there for a couple days, it's significantly cheaper on everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Cost of living here is nice.
I love Florida, man. I hopefully can make it down there again sometime soon. So when it comes to like 100 Demons, you said like you guys are still very good friends. You guys talk all
Yeah.
the time. And like, do you like have any you're also like, do you do any kind of music projects at all right now? Like, are you actively working on anything? Or are you kind of just like
No,
living the happy retired life?
I did some guest vocals for a friend's band. I currently work as a tour bus driver.
Oh, cool.
So I've been home most of the winter because it's a slow time, but
Yep.
I'm getting ready to go out. I got another month off, and then I'm going to be gone for probably the next 8 months straight.
Nice.
So
Are you,
I don't really have time to do shit.
is it kind of like freelance tour bus driving, or do you go with a specific band?
I work for a specific company, and whoever they
Okay.
contract, the company assigns buses. And as a new driver, you get the older buses, and certain band, the prices vary, and certain bands can afford
Yeah.
this. And also, as a new driver, I'm mostly driving crew guys.
That's awesome. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's its own type of job, especially if you're driving across Wyoming in the winter. So,
Yeah, I drove into Denver. I did a Suicide Boys tour.
oh, okay. Cool.
They were playing Red Rocks on like Halloween, and we drove in. It was a blizzard, and it was horrible.
God
Horrible.
damn. They played Red Rocks during a blizzard.
It was we drove in the day before.
Okay.
And it was cold when they played, but I mean they sold it out 2 nights in a row.
That's awesome. I'm about to actually go to Colorado for a visit this weekend. So hopefully go check out Red Rocks again and see what there's
Beautiful venue.
no good shows going on, but
That
it
Jones
seems
Beach in New York, those are 2 of my favorite venues.
Red
I've never
Rocks
played either one, but I've been to them on tour.
Red Rocks is probably it's always known as one of the best in the world for sure. And I haven't been to that one in New York either, but I would definitely check that out. So I guess like I kind of wanted to like touch a little bit more on cancel culture. I don't mean to keep jumping around, but I don't know, like what do you think is a good step forward for people that are in the music scene right now, that are currently like grinding, trying to tour and do their thing? Like should they just not have an internet presence? Because it seems like that's the only way that people can even survive as a band these days.
I don't pay too much attention to like the hardcore cancel culture. I see the tweets and shit. That's the only social media I got is Twitter. I'm not on Instagram or Facebook or anything. And a lot of it is, I call it allegation Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know the veracity of these claims. To me, I don't care how ACAB you are. If someone sexually abused a girl, call the police.
Yeah.
If a crime has been committed, instead of making a long internet thread, how about you file a police report?
Yeah.
And instead of trying to spending all this energy trying to get people to not go see this person's band, how about you spend all that energy trying to get them put behind bars if a crime has been committed? If all they're doing is creepy shit, then that person's a fucking creep. But I don't see that as a reason to spend all your energy trying to get people to not attend their shows or buy their music. I mean, the person's just a shitbag. They're everywhere.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's definitely a lot of shitbags and creepers in the music scene. I know that for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
advice if you're in a band, don't send unsolicited dick pics. Don't be a creep.
yeah, I mean, that seems like it should be a no-brainer, but
Seems
I've had
so.
a lot of my friends get bit in the ass from back in the day. Like, they're stupid, borderline retarded. So, like they literally like, they were kids and doing stupid childish shit, and I don't know, man. Like it's wild. Like people think that like it really is. It's like an unhealthy environment altogether, and then when you throw in drugs and alcohol, it just makes it that much worse.
These are problems I don't have. I'm 57. I think I've hit on 2 girls in my life, and one of them I'm married. So I just never. I'm not a creep. You can say a lot of things about me, and people do, but I'm not a creep.
Yeah, and like honestly, like I don't know, man. Like I said, it should be common sense, but it doesn't turn out that common sense is very common anymore. Um, so I guess like what's next for you? Like you're gonna be grinding on the tour buses. Do you have any interest in ever doing shows again?
I
Um,
I don't particularly like playing. Like I said, it gives me a lot of anxiety.
yeah.
Uh, the guys in Push Button have approached me about doing a couple shows, doing a couple reunion shows for that band.
Would
But
that be up in New England area
yeah,
or
it'd be the only place there's interest for it.
yeah.
And it's weird to me because I'm not the original singer, so to
Mm,
do a reunion seems weird. But and the person who most wanted to see that band play a show, who constantly bugged me about it, has unfortunately passed away. He used to run a small record label in Massachusetts. Rest in peace, Anthony. So that it would, I would do it because I want to see the guys I was in the band with. That they're my friends. Paul, that wound up in Shadows Fall,
oh
Zeus
yeah.
from Planet Z Recordings, the
Paul's
guitar
been in
player.
a few projects with you, correct?
Yeah, he was in Bloodbath and Push Button, and then he went on to huge things in Shadows Fall, and now they're playing shows again. And Jamie, the drummer, he played on the first 2 Death Threat records. He played on the first Hatebreed record, Satisfaction is the Death
Yeah.
is one of hardcore's greatest drummers.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Fantastic.
and I've known him since he was 16 years old.
That's
And
amazing.
it would, so it'd be cool to see those guys, but I have to, making money is the priority. And
Absolutely.
if I'm on a tour and I have to leave to go play a show, then I have to pay for a replacement driver. I have to pay for his flights. I have to pay for my flights out and back. And then I have to, come back and jump right into who knows how long of a drive. And it got to
Yeah.
be safe. I got to keep the people on the bus safe. So we'll see how it goes. I only have my schedule up till like July 5th right now. I got a couple
Okay.
tours.
Yeah, that is a lot of time switching there to make stuff like that happen, especially when you're like have a life and a job and a family and all this stuff. Like people don't like put that, into the picture here, but like it does take another tool on people too to be out there on the road away from their families. And like really like when they're not touring, they don't really want to do anything but be around their families most of the time.
Well, I'm single, no kids, live alone. But it's, and I make good money. I don't mind spending the money to go play the show, but I worry about, I would have to look at what tour I was on and what
Yeah.
the drive was the next day.
Yeah. Cause you don't want to be driving 8 or 10 hours. If you're going like over to places like Colorado where the next closest music venue is 8 or 10 hours away, you
Yeah.
know, but awesome, man. Cool. Well, I guess let everyone know where they can find your stuff, your Twitter, and about your projects and all that stuff. And
I don't know if I want to lead people to my Twitter. I get enough hate.
well, you don't have to.
It's my name with a 5 on the end.
Nice.
And I'm on a founding member of 100 Demons. I'm on the first 100 Demons record. The second 100 Demons record is the one with Pete with the sweet vocals on it because he can actually sing. He was a trained opera singer.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's also was in America's Greatest Oi band, Force Reality.
Okay, nice. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think I
Pete's
need
a
to learn
fucking
opera.
legend. Yeah, Pete can really sing. Pete's a legend.
That's awesome. Cool, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show tonight. I really appreciate your time. And definitely everyone should go check out all of Bruce's awesome music that he's put out over the years. And I will drop you backstage real quick and we'll catch up in just a second. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, man. All right, guys. Well, I am, as I said before, not in town this weekend, so I can't do a show Sunday, but I am going to have a pre-recorded show coming out Sunday around 8 p.m. And then I'm back on the thing next Wednesday, pretty sure, finalizing one of my guests. But I hope you guys had a great night and I hope you have a great rest of your week. And we will see you guys then.